Are you trying to narrow down which Spanish language series to watch on Netflix to help you practice your Spanish? Well, I've got two for you and two strategies to help you practice your Spanish language skills while you're watching a juicy TV series. TV series allow you to practice your Spanish over multiple episodes, so over a considerable amount of time, if you can resist watching the whole series at once. But movies, it's just a 90-minute flick and it's kind of like a one and done situation. In a TV series, the episodes are like mini immersion experiences. You're hearing the language, you get to feel the culture, and you get to see the world through different eyes, through different lenses of the characters in the TV series. And that immersion over multiple episodes helps you pick up cultural expressions, local slang, and cultural nuances that you might miss in a 90-minute film. Okay, let's hop into it. Both of these suggestions are for adults. So if you got kids or grandkids around, make sure they're tucked in the back room somewhere. If you want to practice your Spanish and experience cinematic greatness, then I suggest Cien Años de Soledad, or 100 Years of Solitude. For me, it's a 15 out of 10. It's based on Gabriel Garcia Marquez's novel, and he won the Nobel Prize for it. So a lot of people didn't think that a series could do the book justice, but it did not disappoint. It's about a Colombian family, and it follows this family over several generations, and they create this magical town called Macondo. You'll see a lot of fantasy, magical things happening on the screen, but it's just enough so that it doesn't overwhelm the story. I'm not usually into fantasy, but I was glued to the screen for the entire 8 hours. And the acting was amazing, from the little kids all the way up to the old folks. Everybody should get an Oscar or whatever they give for Netflix shows. The cinematography was beautiful, the storytelling was captivating, and the characters were vibrant. I felt like I was living in that little town with that family. It's great for language learners because it was packed with cultural references from Colombia, and it gives you an opportunity to hear how people express ideas and emotions in Spanish. Now, the narrator spoke very flowery, poetic Spanish, so it might be a little bit hard for you to understand if you're a beginner. But the actors, the characters themselves, they spoke regular, everyday Spanish. Some of my friends are like, okay, that was good. Some are like, mm-mm. So I'm curious to know, what do you think? Have you seen this series? If so, tell me about it in the comments. Okay, here's number two. If you want to practice your Spanish with a juicy reality TV show, try Love is Blind Mexico. If you've seen the US version, then you know the drill. The contestants, they meet, they date, they get engaged without ever having laid an eye on each other. It sounds crazy, but that's what makes it juicy. When they finally meet, sometimes it goes well and sometimes it doesn't. And then they have to live with each other for a month or two or something like that. And the cameras are rolling. It's a social experiment to test whether love is really blind. So in the Mexico version, it's kind of like the US version. They have a mean girl, a mean guy, a delusional one, a narcissist. They have all the different personalities and the human spectrum of personalities, because these are real people. And it takes place in Mexico City. So this will give you a chance to hear what accents are like in the city. But some of the contestants are from other cities in Mexico, so you can hear like the variations and the accents. And I think it's great for language learners to really try to fine tune their ear to different accents of Spanish. Reality TV is fantastic because it's unscripted, so you get to hear how real people speak. It's the kind of Spanish that you're going to hear in a cafe, at a restaurant, when you're out in the street, when you're at a party, you're at a celebration. It's real Spanish from real Spanish speakers. You'll hear casual phrases, slang, current cultural references, and plus, just watching folks get engaged to a stranger is entertaining. If you'd like to support my channel, please hit the like button. Thank you. If you're watching a Spanish language series mindlessly for entertainment, you might be missing out on a fun way to practice your Spanish. It's hard not to just binge watch the whole series. I get it, because the shows are good. But if you want to get the most out of your experience, I have two strategies for you that'll help you practice your Spanish while you're watching the juicy series. The first time you watch the episode, watch it with Spanish audio and English subtitles to get an understanding of the story. But the second time, rewatch the same episode with Spanish audio and Spanish subtitles. You'll find yourself pausing and switching back and forth from English to Spanish subtitles for clarification. The first tip is for beginners. When you're watching the series, keep a notebook and a pen handy. You're going to be listening for Spanish words and phrases and cultural expressions that you think might be useful for you in your everyday life. And you're going to include the English translation and then come back to your notebook a couple times a week and review your list of vocabulary words and phrases. The more you review it, the more you're going to retain it. And you'll find that you'll start using it yourself naturally in conversations with Spanish speakers. And here's the second tip. Now, this tip is for advanced learners. After you finish watching the series, find someone to retell the story to. Go to the cafe, and when the barista has some downtime, just say, "Do you mind if I tell you what I'm watching on Netflix? I want to practice my Spanish." Or you can tell the taxi driver. The taxi driver is a captive audience. They can't go anywhere. You can't go anywhere. You're both trapped in the car. Or tell a friend or a neighbor who doesn't mind you practicing your Spanish with them. This really helps you practice your speaking skills. You can practice with all of those new vocabulary words and phrases and cultural expressions that you learn from the series. And then you never know, this might lead to some interesting and fun conversations with people in your community. This gives you a chance to use your Spanish in an authentic way. Watching TV series, it's fun and it's effective. You can boost your listening, reading, and your speaking skills with TV series. It really helps to sharpen your Spanish ear so you can better understand people when they speak. It also builds your vocabulary, and you'll start using words and phrases and cultural expressions that people use outside of apps and outside of textbooks. Some of my students love it. It's like Netflix and chill and a non-traditional Spanish class, all from your couch. And for more ways to practice Spanish from your couch, check out the free ebook in the description below. If you like this video, hit the like button and share it with a friend who's looking for new ways to practice their Spanish that doesn't put them to sleep. Un abrazo. Hasta luego.